Namaskar. In today's lecture of microwave tubes for the microwave electronics, we discuss about the two cavity klystron and especially the velocity modulation process and the construction and design of the two cavity klystron. In our previous lecture, we have discussed that why the conventional vacuum tubes could not be efficiently used for the generation of microwave tubes. In the adjoining figure, the schematic diagram of the two cavity klystron amplifier is shown, in which Ka is a electron gun. There is a resonator R1 which is named as buncher cavity. This is resonator cavity. The second cavity is called the catcher cavity. A small signal AC input is applied in the buncher cavity and an amplified RF signal output is taken from the catcher cavity. There is a collector electrode or anode which collect the remaining electrons. The steady electron beam from electron gun K passes through grids of resonator R1. This first cavity is excited by the input signal, which can be coupled to the cavity by a coaxial line, loop or waveguide aperture, which is shown by the RF input here in the figure. The first cavity acts as the buncher cavity and velocity modulates the beam. The second cavity, separated from the buncher cavity by a drift space of length L, which is shown here in the figure, which should be ideally chosen so that the AC current at the second cavity is maximum. So this is the basic principle. The second cavity is thus excited by the AC signal impressed on the beam in the form of a velocity modulation with a resultant production of AC current. The catcher cavity catches energy from the punched electron beam. The AC current on the beam is much greater than that in the buncher cavity, and hence we can say that the amplification takes place. The integral of the resonator electric field between the grids G1, G2 is the voltage V1 e raised to the power j omega t applied by this RF input between the grids G1 and G2. The electrons which passes the gap G1, G2 at the positive half voltage, that is when the grid G1, G2 is at higher potential than G1, then the electrons which crosses the cavity gap G1, G2 will be accelerated and there will be some increase in their velocity. Similarly, when those electrons which cross the cavity gap at zeros of the signal voltage, they will move with unchanged velocity V0, and the electrons which passes the cavity gap during the negative half cycles, that is when grid G2 is at lower potential than G1, those electrons will be decelerated, means there will be a decrease in their velocity. So in this way we can say that the electrons which passes the cavity gap G1, G2 at different instances, their velocity will be different, and hence we can say that the velocity modulation process takes place. The effect of velocity modulation upon the electron of a beam as they drift in the field free space between the resonators R1 and R2 is to produce bunching of electrons into dense clusters along the beam. The space charge The space charge modulated beam then passes through the grids G3, G4 of the cavity R2. The phase of the voltage V2 e raised to the power j omega t on these grids is maintained so that each cluster of electrons, when it passes between grids, encounter a retarding field. The kinetic energy lost by the electron beam cluster owing to the reduction of their velocity in this retarding field is converted to the EM energy of the fields in the resonator. The output signal then taken from the resonator R2. The electrons then emerge from the second cavity with reduced velocity, and finally they will terminate and collected by the collector R2. The quantitative analysis can be described by the following assumptions. The first assumption is the electron beam assumed to have a uniform density in the entire cross section. Second one is space charge effects are negligible. And third one, the magnitude of the microwave signal input is assumed to be much smaller than the DC accelerating potential. Now we discussed mathematically calculate how the change in the velocity takes place by the velocity modulation process. The effectiveness of each pair of the grids in changing the velocity of electrons which it passes is greater the shorter the transit time of the electrons between the grids. This fact may now be shown by the calculation of the change in energy of the electrons as it passes through the cavity under electric field F equal to QE, where electric field Ez along the beam direction between the grids is given by V over D, where V is V1 e raised to the power j omega t upon D. D is the intergrid space between the grids G1 and G2. Therefore, the force Fz is given by E into Ez. Therefore, Fz is given by E V1 over D into e raised to the power j omega t. Therefore, the work done on or by the electrons depending upon whether the electrons are being accelerated or decelerated. So the work done is calculated by W equal to integral between 0 to t Fz Tz. If we multiply and divide by dt, then this expression will become Fz into V dt. dz over dt will be velocity. Now we substitute the value of Fz, which is E V1 over D into e raised to the power j omega t into V dt, and integrating between 0 to D. The magnitude of the cavity potential V1 is small compared with the anode potential V0. The change of the velocity of the electrons which in the gap G1 G2 is small, and their velocity V is Tz over dt may be taken to be equal to V0, where we may calculate V0 by the fact that work done by the field is equal to the kinetic energy gained by the electrons, that is half mv0 square equal to q into V0, from which the V0 velocity is given by root twice E V0 over m. Now using this velocity V0 and also assuming that V in the above integral equation is almost equal to small V0 because the gap is small, and V is approximately equal to V0. Then W is given by E V1 over D into small V0 integral between T1 to T1 plus tau e raised to the power j omega t into dt. So when we calculate it, it comes out to be e v1 over tau into e raised to the power j omega t1 plus tau minus e raised to the power j omega t1 upon j omega, where t1 is the time at which the electrons enters the grid g1 and tau is the transit time for crossing the gap g1 g2. Therefore, the transit time tau is given by d over v0 and its value may be used in further calculation of the work done on or by the electrons, which is now given by W equal to e v1 over tau into e raised to the power j omega tau by 2 minus e raised to the power j omega tau by 2 upon 2j into 2 upon omega integral into e raised to the power j omega into t1 plus tau by 2. Now this bracketed term is equal to sine omega tau by 2, and by rearranging this work done expression, and if we show this equation in terms of equation second, so a correlation factor K may be used here, which is equal to sine omega tau by 2 or omega tau by 2. In this equation, ev1 into e raised to the power j omega t1 plus tau by 2 is the energy change the electron would undergo if it had crossed the gap under constant field at the instant when it actually passes the gap center of the two grids G1, G2. We have therefore in terms of tau, the work done equation in terms of W may be expressed by equation second. Here, if the tau is small, then this correlation factor having its maximum value unity. Now work done on or by the electrons by expressed expression W, and also taking into account that ev0 is the work done by the field, the total energy of the electron when it come out from the Buncher cavity grids is equal to half mv square equal to ev0 plus W equal to ev0 into 1 plus k v1 over v0 is raised to the power j omega into t1 plus tau by 2. So after substituting the value of W from equation second, the kinetic energy after the come out of the electron beam from the Buncher cavity is given by half mv square equal to ev0 into 1 plus k v1 over v0 e raised to the power j omega into t1 plus tau by 2, or velocity v can be expressed as under root twice ev0 over m into 1 plus k v1 over v0 is to the power j omega into t1 plus tau by 2 power 1 by 2. Since root 2 e v0 over m is the uniform velocity v0 of the electron beam, so this equation now becomes v equal to v0 into 1 plus k v1 over v0 e raised to the power j omega into t1 plus tau by 2 power 1 by half. Since signal voltage V1 is very small as compared to the DC potential V0, so when we expand this, the higher power terms may be neglected, and finally we get the equation v equal to v0 into 1 plus half k v1 over v0 e raised to the power j omega into t1 plus tau by 2. So this is the expression for the velocity modulation. This equation shows that velocity now is a function of time, and this also shows that the velocity modulation occurs, and because of this velocity modulation, the faster moving electron catches up and overtakes the earlier slowly moving electron. So this equation will be used in our further analysis, which we will discuss in the next lecture, and in that we will show the second process, which is called the bunching process. Thank you.